LiberalViewer presents.
So when two 12-year-old Wisconsin girls allegedly stabbed another girl 19 times in what police claim was an attempt to impress the online creepypasta character Slenderman, the Fox News coverage took a couple strange turns, with the first day's coverage avoiding even the mention of the name Slenderman and instead describing him in kind of religious terms, as you can see in this clip.
The two attackers, they told investigators that they decided to kill their friend to show loyalty to a demon-like character they became fascinated by after spending time on a website featuring horror stories and legends.
Now, none of the many online descriptions of Slenderman I found support a claim he's demonic, though if creepypastas are demons, I guess that makes the flying spaghetti monster the obvious deity. But the other strange part about the first day's Fox News coverage of this story was the way the Fox News anchor seemed almost willing to let accused criminals get away with avoiding responsibility by blaming a website, as you can see in this clip.
Just unbelievable that she is okay, and that's the great news, but that a website could motivate something like this.
It is, and that website actually just posted a statement just a few minutes ago saying that they do offer their condolences to the families here and that they strongly speak out against any of these actions for anyone else that does visit that website.
Yeah, it might be a little late for the condolences, but anyway, Garrett.
Now, if Fox News anchor Jon Scott there seemed a little too willing to jump to blame the website for this attack, the next day's story from his co-anchor Jenna Lee definitely made the opposite point, after mentioning Slenderman by name this time and giving a more accurate background about the character that didn't call him demonic. The Fox News anchor brought on psychologist and attorney Brian Russell specifically to refute the Slenderman made me do it defense, as you can see here.
Dr. Brian Russell, attorney and clinical psychologist, says that this whole Slenderman made me do it excuse is invalid. Dr. Russell, why?
I really don't think that the whole Slenderman concept has much, if anything at all, to do with this, Jenna, other than that it's apparently sort of their excuse for having done it. I think this is much more probably about immature hatred, jealousy, narcissism, and probably coupled with insufficient parenting. Probably what we have here are a couple of morally underdeveloped, hateful, jealous little minds with insufficient supervision and parenting. It's probably a more run-of-the-mill attempted murder, really.
Did you notice the text down in Fox News' lower third chyron? Dr. Russell, girls more likely to have hateful little minds? Now, if you listen to what Brian Russell actually said there, that's probably just a poor summary of his point that these girls are more likely to have hateful little minds than to have been influenced by Slenderman. At least that seemed the most likely interpretation of that weird Fox News chyron, until I happened to see a story later that day on MSNBC about Mississippi Tea Party leader Janice Lane's suspicious access to some Republicans' primary ballots that included some background about her view of women that All-In host Chris Hayes described like this.
In 2012, Lane told the Jackson Free Press, "Probably the biggest turn we ever made was when the women got the right to vote. Our country might have been better off if it was just men voting." Why? Well, because women are just up to no good.
There is nothing worse than a bunch of mean, hateful women. They are diabolical in how they can skewer a person. I do not see that in men. The whole time I work, I would much rather have a male boss than a female. Double-minded, you never can trust them.
So it seems like at least one conservative does believe that girls are more likely to have hateful little minds and therefore shouldn't vote, and though nothing that overtly anti-woman was actually included in the analysis back over on Fox News, there did seem to be an implicit attack on women working outside the home when attorney and psychologist Brian Russell made sure that instead of blaming a fictional internet boogeyman, the blame pointed at the more typical right-wing boogeymen like lack of prayer in school and the breakdown of morals in the family, as you can see in this clip.
The bigger point that you make, Dr. Russell, in a lot of your work, and I just want to end here with this, is that you say there's so little time being spent now on moral development, and that is something different than previous generations. If you could sum that up for our viewers, why do you think that is key here?
Absolutely. I think our culture is not teaching kids morals and values in the public schools, not in churches. Fewer people are going, not at home. Fewer parents are there. We got rampant divorce, single parent homes. They're busy. They're not spending as much time. There just aren't as many adults around at home to do it as there have been in the past. Add to that a culture that's increasingly focused on the self as opposed to things larger than the self. And then into that mucky milieu, you throw all the mentally disturbed people that we've always had throughout history, and it's just a prescription for more of this kind of stuff.
Now, attorney and psychologist Brian Russell seemed to be acting more like an attorney than a psychologist there, drawing a lot of conclusions about the state of mind of patients he's never examined, and notice Fox News also put that chyron up again, making it hard to dismiss as a mistake, but whether Fox News was calling Slenderman demonic or calling the acts of these 12-year-old girls the result of the moral breakdown of society, it was all jumping to conclusions based on insufficient evidence, I think, but I want to know what you think. Was Fox News first too quick to blame demonic Slenderman and then too quick to label these accused 12-year-old girls as evil products of bad parents and an immoral society? And regarding that strange Fox News chyron, does some faction of the right wing really believe that girls are more likely to have hateful little minds?
YouTube, you decide.